And welcome everybody. We are here and we are live for another beautiful episode of the Real Raw Unblinded Sales Roleplay. And it was like hilarious because yesterday we were talking about like, wow, this is the first time in a long time that we're lacking some female energy. And today it's like dominating and driving. And it's not like just goddess energy because it's females. There is a ton of Zeus energy. We've been talking about cowlicks. We've been talking about, Frank Orange and the amazing dynamics he's done being on different ecosystem mergers. Karina's like, I saw him somewhere and now you're here and we're merging. That's what we're doing here. So Sean, welcome to another episode. It feels like episode 50 something. And what say you, sir?
I'm like disturbed because I just found out that, a blind guy, I can't look in the mirror and I have a hair cowlick. And now I'm disturbed where it is. Like it's very present for me. So,
Sean, I've been looking for an opportunity to unnerve you for a long time.
Well, thank you. You have unnerved me. We have to drop in and deal with this. So thank you. And that is the most important dynamic besides unlocking influence as a superpower before all those things. But Fernando, in my loving goddess combined Zeus shift, that also opens the doorway a little bit since we had a little bit of cowlick ribbon. It opens up vulnerability and the free flow of perhaps influence confronts. So Fernando, you know what that feels like on the opposite end, do you not?
Yes, I do. Everyone 5 wide receiver set. We're speaking in truth today. And that's all I'll say.
I'm teasing. Thank you. That is a fun thing. I love when we just have the Ogmandino promotes the 10 scrolls each and every day. And I tailored them a little bit, but scroll number 7 is today, I lovingly laugh at myself and the world. So if we can't laugh at ourselves, right, and we can't laugh at the world, and we take ourselves too seriously, where are we going? So this is amazing. So thank you for that beautiful access. And we're on the Real Raw. And we're ready to go with some incredible and amazing people. And we have a remarkable person doing introductions today. We have Jan here. We have you, Fernando. Jan, how are you?
I'm doing good. I'm excited. It's welcome, welcome, welcome. Let's roll. Let's let this party get started.
Let's get that party started, Jan. So you want to start welcoming aboard some of the amazing folk?
Yes, I am. And I'm pleased that everybody took the time to come on today. It's going to be a great show and a fun show. And you're correct. We have lots of women today, so I'm excited. And we have 1, 2, or 3 wonderful men too. So I'm going to do the introductions at first of our contestants.
The person who's doing these introductions, Jan.
Yes.
You're the #1 body language expert on the planet. So not only do these folks have to contend with every other dynamic, you're going to be studying them the entire time because you're Jan Hargrave. You're a magician, and you're magician. Thank you for being here. So please.
Oh, you're welcome. And the thing about it is that the moment that you say the word body language, I saw their shoulders go back up and straight because, I know. So while I'm doing this, I'm very pleased to introduce everyone. But, of course, as you give me your hellos, I'm going to probably be writing a few notes down. So not to make any of you nervous, but just thought I would tell you that because it just makes it fun. And if I can help you in any way, that's what I'm here for. So we're ready to meet these wonderful contestants. We're going to start off with Shannon. And where is Miss Shannon? So Shannon, here we go about Shannon, very influential woman. Very influential person, has done many things in her life. Oh, and I see you have your pink glasses on, Robert, to match mine. Robert is a good friend of mine. Look at Robert. Thank you. I need to mail a whole set to all of you so that when we do this again, everyone would have a pair of pink glasses because, I give them away when I speak. We will eventually get that. Sean, I'll send you some to your office and then we can roll from there. That would be wonderful because it's always better to see the world through pink colored lens than just regular lens anyway. Correct?
I agree.
Correct.
All right.
Okay, so let's start with Ms. Shannon Alvarez. Let me tell you just a few things about Shannon, which I thought were very, very impressive. So I'll start off with Shannon. I might have to read some of this, but I'm going to tell you some of her important information. A CEO of 3 companies and a nonprofit for trauma survivors, Shannon Ray is best known for helping companies double or 10 times their revenues, their profits, and their margins in 6 to 24 months. Spanning 21 different industries across 25 years, including startups, Fortune 500 companies, global brands, governments, and nonprofits, Shannon Ray has taken 6 of 8 startups to profitability, to sale, or to acquisition. She has run NASDAQ publicly traded companies, and as the COO and has produced extraordinary results such as 1,400% revenue increases in 18 months and assisted in a tech client raise $100 million in a Series C from SoftBank. As a breakthrough consultant for 20 years, creator of the I Am Powerful program and author of several books, she gives leaders the practical tools they need to produce unprecedented results. And so here's Shannon with, I love the words here, I Am Powerful program, which we're all powerful, but Shannon has actually given it a name. So welcome to Shannon. So Shannon is our first contestant. Hi, Shannon.
How are you?
Yeah.
Shannon,
I'm fabulous.
that is remarkable. Your background. I'm like, I need to talk to this person if you'll talk to me. So that's incredible. Welcome. And where are you physically located today, Shannon?
I'm located in Las Vegas, Nevada, and thank you, by the way, for having me. Quite an honor. I watched some of your previous shows, and I'm definitely impressed.
Well, I'm impressed as well, for real. Those numbers are incredible. Your background is truly remarkable, and it's an honor. If I could ask you this, in one, quick soundbite, what would you say to you is the core of why you've been so successful? Like, what's the definition that you bring that companies need?
Patterns. It's systemization. Business is a science, and when you get down to the patterns and you understand them really clearly and replicate them, it's not magic. It's not magic at all. So,
amen. So, a dear friend of mine, Michael Smikin, who's worked with me for a long time, says very nicely, and I'll say it humbly, says about me, but I'll say about everybody, is when things are working incredibly, optimally, scientifically, they look like magic, but it's just advanced science. And I think that's what I'm hearing you say. Yes?
absolutely, 100%.
Awesome. All right. Welcome. And we're going to have some fun. So Jan, who's our next incredible participant?
Okay, and I'll introduce her. But again, Shannon, that's wonderful. Thanks for being here and love all this work that you have done. Incredible work. So we're pleased to have you. We'll have some fun. We'll make it work. Maybe you'll learn a few things to even better yourself. So I think it'll be good for you too. So next we have Jasmine, and Jasmine is Jasmine Manke, M-A-N-K-E. Jasmine is an international speaker. She's a certified professional coach, energy leadership master practitioner, and the founder of the Confident Boss Academy. Don't we like the name of that? The Confident Boss Academy. She is an expert in helping women build six-figure online coaching businesses while creating the impact and results for their clients and the freedom in their lives that they crave, which is something I think that is wonderful. So Jasmine, welcome to you. Hope you have a good time today. Hope you learn lots of stuff. We welcome you, Jasmine.
Awesome. Hey, Jasmine, how are you?
I'm amazing. Thank you. I'm so excited to be back. I'm so excited to see so many of you. It feels like a Tony event all over again. Definitely missing those.
So last time I think I saw you, we were filming a video in like Palm Beach out on like grass by a road. And then the last time I virtually saw you, you were turning into the Simon Cowell of the Real Raw, blowing people up in your judging. So welcome back. And now you're switching seats.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. I'm very excited.
Yeah, thrilled to have you here. And you truly did an awesome job judging. So excited to see you as a participant. So thanks, Jasmine.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Jan, we had 3 incredible judges, eh?
We certainly do, and some of the names I see are familiar to me, so I'm glad to welcome them here. And I'll take Deb first. So let's take Deb Battersby, and I'll tell you a few things about Miss Deb. So it's good to see her. So Deb has devoted decades to the study and application of leadership and success principles, combining 25 years of leadership roles with more than 12 years of coaching business leaders and a confessed addiction to personal development. Deb has distilled her learnings into a proven system to help you master the fundamentals that are guaranteed to accelerate your success in business and in life. She is passionate about the entrepreneurs and business leaders. Deb has made it her mission to help you achieve your vision and amplify your positive impact in the world. She believes that you're the ones that are best equipped to solve our world's biggest challenges and embrace our greatest opportunities. Founder of the Success Matrix International, executive coach and business strategist, and designer of the Freedom Point coaching system. Today we have with us Deb Battersby. Wonderful judge to be with us. So welcome, Deb.
Awesome, Deb. And Deb, so thank you for picking on my hair. I appreciate that. It's a beautiful opening access. And so you said that you've been waiting to like disrupt some of my certainty. I appreciate that. So when did that like first come into your mindset?
Oh, Sean, you've been in the Platinum Partner Lions Group for a long time, and as one of Tony's master trainers, I've had the privilege to observe you in action, to watch you at Business Mastery, to see how you influence people just by your presence. And I haven't had much opportunity to interact with you personally, but I love the impact that you have on the people around you.
Oh my God. And that was so fun. And thank you so much for all the incredible work you do in the world. And such an incredible group of people, the folks that train in the world of Mr. Robbins, the dedication, the commitment, the sacrifice, the investment is truly remarkable. So thank you for having an amazing impact in the world, Deb.
Thank you.
And Deb, where are you? You're physically where today?
Chicago.
Chicago. And I skipped this, which I was saying, welcome, Deb. Quickly, Jasmine, where are you physically today?
I'm in Berlin, Germany right now.
Oh, wow. We're coming from across the pond. Amazing. So, and thank you. So what time is it there at this point?
It is 9:16 p.m.
Very cool. Well, thank you for that. And Jan, back to you. We have
Back
two
to me.
remarkable people.
Okay, we will welcome a man now. Finally, a man. So today we have Randall, and Randall, I'll try to say your name right. Rednaughty. Am I saying that right, Randall?
It's Robert.
Robert. Oh, Robert. Look, I got the first name wrong, and I got the last. Anyway, Robert, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you too.
So some things about you that I did not know, and you're probably doing it to me now. So don't look into my eyes too deeply. I'm afraid of you. So let me just tell you some background about Robert. Robert has worked as a chemical engineer for Exxon for 25 years. He then left Exxon to become head coach of the men and women's track and field and cross-country teams at Pepperdine University in Malibu. Then from there, he left coaching after 14 years to become a master hypnotist, all the while managing several businesses on the side. So welcome, Robert. Let me look deep into your eyes and see if you're mesmerizing me right now.
Left eye to left eye. Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure to be here.
Hey, Robert.
Thank you.
Super appreciate you being here. Pepperdine, I've never been, but Pepperdine is so famous on the East Coast that in my son's Little League back in the day, that we were actually the Wave. Because it's like,
Wow.
right? Because so think of that impact that Pepperdine would have an East Coast Little League team named the Wave after it. So that is also, I understand, one of the most beautiful views and places you could possibly be. And congratulations on leading an extraordinary life, coaching athletes, hypnotists, successful businessman. Quite an extraordinary life, sir.
Thank you very much. I'm having a lot of fun.
Really, really cool. And what's your relationship, if I could ask, if any, with the ocean?
I live right at the ocean. In fact, I'm moving about 25 feet. I'm 25 feet from the beach right now. I'm moving, so it'll be right above it in 4 days.
Wow, that's awesome. So thanks for being here. And so I presume you're out in California right now.
In Malibu.
Oh, beautiful. Well, thank you, Robert, and welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. And last, but certainly not least, Jan.
Right. We have one more judge, another female, and right now we have Karina Frankie. And I'll tell you some things about Karina, which are remarkable also. Her business, which is called or named Brand Besties and Outreach Activations, talks to strangers for a living. That's quite interesting. She has been successfully cheerleading businesses, communities, and humanitarian causes, working in and connecting with hard to reach younger demographics. She understands their absolute need for authenticity and real partnership. And her boots on the ground initiatives have fostered genuine connection and collaboration between brand and target customer. She's a mom, she's a business owner of 11 years, and she's a master coach and practitioner of NLP. So welcome, Karina.
Thank you. So exciting. I think what I learn every time I get around to people like you is that there's still that level of growth. You know, everyone is growing, and it's a testament to be here with all of you wonderful, successful humans and just sharing in that growth. Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
And Karina, do you happen to know David Gonzalez?
I do know David Gonzalez.
Yeah. So I want to thank David Gonzalez, Lorelei, Mariano, just in all you fine folks for making today possible. And you know what this is, you know, and you're like, oh my God, these long intros, and we're spending this time, like, let's get to it. And what this is we have gotten to it. Like, this is how you connect. This is how you have like a lunch or a dinner with friends, with incredible people, where people are appropriately acknowledged for who they are in the world. And one of our fundamental beliefs at Unblinded, and my belief for an incredibly long time, when I was first figuring out like how people talk about themselves and are humble but not humble, and how does all this work when the nuns in Catholic school, grammar school said, sit down, shut up, you're told not to talk about yourself. At the same time, people say like, hey, share your greatness. Like, how do you do all that? And how do you have it make sense? And so that's the beginning of what we do here today, is acknowledge each other, spend some time connecting, and allowing people to truly sit in the space of their beautiful life accomplishments where they are. And also, we're all here because we still want to go places, each and every one of us. Like, we wouldn't be here today unless there was a desire for connection, growth, love, acceleration, contribution, and other incredible things. So thank you.
And on that note,
yeah, Fernando,
I'd be remiss if I didn't share. I know a lot of you know Sean, Tony Robbins World, successful founder and president of Caligula Law. And what I'm sure a lot of you may guess but may not know is that beyond all that, there's a true leader who loves people unconditionally with boundaries and integrity. He is one of the most generous men I have ever found in my life. I'm honored to call him a mentor and a protege. He inspires hundreds, if not thousands, on a regular basis. He's truly heart-led. He cares about humanity. He's here to show God that he was given gifts and he wants to give them to humanity. And it's such a pleasure, Sean, to have so much proximity to you and see what you create on a regular basis and see you for the man that you are and understand the vision you have.
Oh, brother, thank you. And that's not scripted, everybody. And Fernando hasn't said something in a bit like that, probably never before. It is received. I'm appreciative. And the trust you've given and the growth you stepped into as somebody who is training and teaching this formula at the highest level now. I am incredibly grateful for that trust, your acceleration, your commitment, your work ethic, and having created 307 integrity-based sales meetings in a month is in and of itself remarkable. And that doesn't even begin to describe what you're up to. So thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. And certainly we need a role player. And to have a role player today, Frank Clark, Mr. Orange from the Tony Robbins world. And if you haven't been on here before, it doesn't always look like this. Like, not everybody here met through the Tony Robbins world, but today happens to be a rich day of a bunch of us have intersected there. And it's not like that every day. You know, we have lawyers and accountants and people from television, all sorts of different folk, but it feels like home today. And Frank, you are such a leader in the space, whatever space you're involved in. And what I didn't realize about Frank is I met him when he first spoke as Mr. Orange at a Tony Robbins event called Date with Destiny, which was the model of I'm Not Your Guru. And Frank was hysterical, dynamic, charismatic. But what I didn't understand and realize is his incredible ability to help businesses accelerate his own personal success, the impact he has on other businesses. And the fact that you take the time, Frank, to be here, along with everybody else, is something I'm truly appreciative. So thanks for being here, Frank.
Sean, my pleasure. I've had a lot of fun. You know, I've been a contestant. I've been a judge. Now I'm in this seat, in this role. And I love the work that you're doing. I just love being part of it. You know, you create amazing ecosystems. And like Fernando said, you know, you're inspiring and a bit of a mentor to me as well. I've followed you, you know, since your first event that you had back in January. And it's just been exciting to see the growth of the Unblinded movement and the people that you are attracting into your world. So thanks for being part of it.
Well, thank you. And I learned from you too, brother. And that's the truth, always. I am the consummate student, and mastery means never, ever arriving, but loving and enjoying the journey. And with all this like mutual love and affection, it's kind of like have a fun game. And we have two amazing people in Shannon and Jasmine ready to go. We have great judges, amazing role player, and it's time. And so for those that haven't been here before, or for those that haven't watched either before, here's how it works. And why are we doing this? Like, what are we doing? Why are we doing it? We're doing it for this reason. My life changed incredibly in terms of my realization of how much more ability I had to create the financial abundance, the time abundance, and the abundance of magic and other emotions when I realized how essential influence was. And what was difficult for me when I first discovered that was I thought that influence is about manipulation, harm, and taking, which is something I could never do. So I was on the verge of leaving the legal profession after having been an athlete and not going on to play professionally because of my blindness, and all those dynamics in play. And when I realized that influence was like business development was a part of being an attorney to create the things you wanted in your actual life, I wanted to leave the law. And thanks to the beginning of the work of Tony Robbins, then Jay Abraham, the book, How to Make a Fortune from Public Speaking, and just the massive acceleration from all the people I study, because Tony Robbins taught me to constantly model and study others, my life changed. And I started my own law firm as an experiment on my credit card, $100,000 in debt in 1997. And 2 years later, I had 40 people working for my firm and was generating all this business while I was sitting behind soulful, well-intentioned, beautiful human beings who couldn't figure out a way to generate enough clients to feed their family and keep their practice open. And that to me was horrible. I'm like, this works. I want to share it with the world. And I began to, and then like I had a period of like, you know, I want to do that someday, but I'd rather coach my kids' sports teams and teach kids these dynamics and materials until my kids get older, and then I'll go back and do it. And here we are. So my son is sitting a few feet away, sophomore in college. My daughter's a senior in high school, daughter's a junior. They're like really busy. And so I'm like, okay, so bring this to the world since they're busy and have retired me from my favorite job, which is coaching their sports teams and traveling the world with them. So here we are. That's what this is all about. How do you unlock influence as a superpower and kind of like, then what do you do with it? So that's what we're stepping into today with Shannon, Jasmine, all these remarkable people. And Shannon, Jasmine, Jasmine, you've seen this before. Shannon, have you seen this at all before?
Briefly, didn't know your name. I didn't know the name of this program literally 24 hours ago and got invited to be here. So I dug in and did a little research last night, watched the show.
Super cool.
Feel like I'm getting to know you a little bit.
All right, awesome. So here's how it works, right? It's 1 6-minute conversation. That's important for the judges and the participants. It's one conversation split down the middle. The first half and the second half are how a perfect conversation fits together, an optimal conversation. So in the first half, all we're being scored upon is how well we open the listening of the other person, right? The role player, Frank, and how we put something at stake for Frank. And that what's at stake relates to the second round and how you'll share your gifts, skills, talents, and abilities to get to the yes, satisfy that what's at stake to get to the yes. Now here's the key. So 2 parts, 3 minutes first part, then Frank will be like, hey, I got to take a call in a minute, Shannon, Jasmine, I'll be back in a few. At the end of the 3 minutes, you don't need to reschedule the second part. So the first 3 minutes is not about scheduling. It's not about yes. It's not about agreement. It's about depth of connection with authenticity and integrity and putting something at stake. Because Oprah said that the reason she held the microphone for 30,000 people is because she said, I see you, I hear you, and what you say matters to me, right? And that's what we're looking to say in the first round. In the second round, with authenticity and congruence, we're solving that pain and challenge and moving to yes. Now you're like, yes, it could be anything you want. I think it's always fun if it's a yes you're seeking in the world. So maybe it's exactly what your services are, and Frank's a potential client. Maybe it's a book deal. Maybe it's that he's a TV producer. Maybe he's somebody you want to recruit into a strategic partnership. Whatever you want Frank to be is what he will be. Total freedom. The key is to remember it's 6 minutes. And in the 6 minutes, you don't need to get to a sale. You don't need to get to an absolute ultimate yes. The yes you're seeking could be just a 1-hour meeting. So it's a brief interaction to have the yes be whatever you want it to be, including a longer meeting after that. So there's no requirements in the yes. This is not about pressure, not about force. It's about demonstrating congruence, fluidity, love, listening, and sequencing from hello to yes, whatever that yes might be. So Shannon, with that said, do you have any questions?
Nope, I'm good.
Awesome. Jasmine, any questions?
Ready to roll.
Awesome. Jasmine, questions for you.
Great, thank you.
Okay, cool. So since Jasmine, you're from further away, I have put either a 1 or a 2 under the table. What number do you think it is?
2.
It is a 1. So you pivoted. So that means, Shannon, you've won the toss. You can go first in the first round and then retain your selection in the second round to go first or second, or go second in the first round, and then Jasmine will have pick. What say you?
I'll go first.
Super cool. All right. So Shannon's going to go first. And what is the scenario? You want Frank to be Frank or somebody else?
I want Frank to be Frank. I want this to be raw, authentic. Let's just dive in and get real.
Right. Awesome. 3 minutes on the clock. Frank has walked into your office, and take it from hello.
Hey, Frank, how are you?
Great, Shannon. How are you?
Good. So I don't believe that anything happens randomly or by chance. So, and I also believe that every moment offers a gift for both of us. So for whatever reason, we happen to be sitting here together today. And I'd love to ask your permission to just get to know you a little bit so we can kind of mine this moment and see what lies in front of us.
That would be great. I have a lunch appointment. I have to jump out in about 3 minutes though. So, but absolutely. Let's get to know each other.
You got it. Let's dive in then. So can you tell me a little bit about what you do? Are you in business?
Yes, I'm in the electronic space. Is my primary company. I buy and sell used capital equipment all over the world for electronic factories. I'm also a business and life coach. I just started a new podcast and it's called Orange Crushing It. And I've taken some momentum that I took back from a Tony Robbins event where I get to play a role and found that I had a lot of people that wanted to work with me. So I've turned that into a business and I'm growing on all of those aspects.
Got it. Are you still doing both of them?
Yes, I am. I still have 2 electronics companies, actually. The coaching business is going and now the podcasting. So
got it. Which one do you love? Like which one just like lights your fire?
Right now, I'm loving doing the podcast. I got to tell you, I love doing the show. It's pretty cool.
What do you love about it?
I love that I get to talk. I don't have to be on camera because I have a face for radio. And I just love interviewing people. I love, getting to know people and pulling out the greatness that's in them. Love talking about business tactics and strategies. I love talking about stories. I'm a good storyteller and I enjoy, connecting with people in short little stories. And
got it. So on your podcast, are you driving, what are you driving from it? Are you driving, impact? Do you love to just get in there and speak to people? Is there a revenue opportunity for you?
Well, the revenue opportunity, I think, is the influence I have that would parlay into my coaching and business strategies.
Got it.
Yeah, my message is pretty much about just how can I inspire somebody? How can people stay in that driven orange energy, that the success, desire to win, which we all have.
So helping people get that win.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Did you get that win in your electronics, side? Is that why you kind of, is it like the thrill of the?
It is. The thrill of the deal to me is always fun. The thrill, I'm an entrepreneur, been one since I was 8. So just starting companies and being part of it is so exciting. I got to bounce in 30 seconds though, Shannon. So
no worries. So I guess my last question really is just, if you're 90 sitting on your rocking chair, watching out at the piece, what is the final thrill of the big close that you want to say, I really was the best deal of my life?
I think to follow Emerson's poem about success, to know that one life has lived better because you existed, that's success. And so to believe in that and know that my life had some meaning, that's what it's all about for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much for giving me this opportunity to just get to know you a little bit better.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Awesome job. Frank, beautiful job as role player, and Shannon, really, really outstanding. What was present for you, Shannon?
3 minutes is super fast, by the way. I'm used to digging in with people for a period of time, but I love the authenticity. I love the rawness. I love the in the moment. I loved just kind of diving in and the adventure of kind of following where it takes you and trusting that it's going to drive you where you need to go.
Oh, fantastic. And Frank, if you had, well, I don't want you to say fantastic. Let me give better than that. What I thought was your certainty was clear, your direction high, and I could feel your scientific approach very authentically present. Like there was a method and there was a direction because you know what you're doing. And like that felt very present for me. So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
And Frank, if you had one word, one sentence on how was that encounter?
I thought it was energetic. I thought it was comfortable. I thought it was very comfortable.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Jasmine, how are you?
I'm great. I'm excited.
All right. And who would you like Frank to be?
I think I'm going to pick up for the business and life coach kind of thing, because that's my jam anyways, and just kind of see how your business is going and, how to reach more people and monetize that and just kind of, yeah.
So you want Frank to be Frank?
In terms of more about the business life coach, like if that could be your idea of like really making that your main kind of business.
Sure.
Cool.
That'd be awesome. That's
Okay.
okay.
Sure,
Yeah, of course.
absolutely.
Yeah. So you ready, Jasmine?
I'm ready. Thank you.
All right, take it away.
Okay, hi Frank. I'm so excited to talk to you.
Hey, Jasmine. Good to see you again.
You too. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah.
Things are going really well.
Good. So you've been healthy again?
Very healthy. Yeah, knock on wood. Everything's turning around. Everything's just, honestly, I've probably been the happiest I've been in years. Things are going really amazing.
That's really beautiful. I'm excited to hear that. I hope to see you again in person sometime soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about our call together today. And what I found works best on these calls is just to kind of see where you're at right now, where you want to go, and then just see whether I'm the best person to help you get to your business goals. And then
Sure.
we can at the end to find the best solution for you and your business. Does that sound
Absolutely.
good?
That sounds great. I only have 2 minutes because I'm running out to lunch, but
Okay, no worries. So I would just kind of hear where you're currently at with your business in terms of what your mission is.
well, on the coaching side, I've been just branding like a madman for the last 2 years, and it's been going pretty well. I've got a lot of people that follow the orange movement. I love that orange energy space, and my goal is to create, a great click funnel, a nice mastermind, something that I can influence more and more people. I do coaching one-on-one, but to get to a larger audience and be able to influence more people at one time is certainly my goal.
Okay, great. So what would you see has been the biggest issue with just coaching one-on-one so far?
The biggest issue with coaching one-on-one is that I'm stretched a little too thin. You take on a bunch of clients, and I hate saying no to somebody. Somebody really wants to work with me. I really love that. I love the human dynamic. I love people. And yet I'm trading an hour for $1. And I'd love to be able to just get more people engaged at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So in terms of you obviously hating to say no, so wanting to not let people down, but also you're yourself too thin. So would you say that that's a sustainable strategy for the future? Right?
No. Well, to be a solo coach, no, it's not sustainable unless I want to charge millions of dollars for my time. Then anything's sustainable, right? But no, I really want to hit more of a bigger market. I'd like to be on stage, speaking to a bigger group and being able to influence people either through my work or my writings or my webinars or my podcasts, any of those methods.
Mm-hmm.
Grow the ecosystem.
Okay, great. So in terms of all the people, because I can really hear that you're so interested in influencing more people, how many people do you think are currently missing out on your services with your current business model?
Oh, thousands, millions. I really believe that I have a great story to tell. And I also believe that, I'm really just scratching the surface right now.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And in terms of money, how much money do you think are you currently leaving on the table?
Well, I think I'm leaving millions on the table. I look at other people that influence me, and I got to run, but yeah, I'm leaving a lot of money on the table. Absolutely.
Okay, great. Can't wait to catch you soon. Thank you for your openness.
Thank you, Jasmine. Appreciate you.
Excellent, excellent. Jasmine, how was that for you?
That was fun. I was trying to be not too direct, but with the 3 minutes, it's kind of like, okay, let's just use the masculine, get straight to the point. Let's see how I can help, what the problem is, uncover the issue.
Awesome. Yeah. So, and Frank, would you say one word, one sentence?
What I liked about Jasmine was very specific, measurable questions that had measurable answers to them. How much money, how many customers, how much time, what's it cost? Like very direct.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for that. And so let's check out what the judges are thinking about. So Deb, we can go from hair calyx to like judging stuff. How are you?
I'm good. Okay, this is going to be fun.
I'm sorry. So 10-point scale. And what we do is, maybe 20, 30 seconds on what worked, 20 to 30 seconds on something that could be optimized, and take it away.
Well, first of all, both of the panelists were brilliant. I'd like to say for Shannon, really high energy. And I love the way she framed the conversation, setting up that, this doesn't happen by accident. There's a gift in this for both of us. I think that opens a lot of space for the receiver of the conversation to be looking for that gift, what's in it for them. I think too is that she came very quickly to the point that he loves the art of the deal and wanted to know, where does that thrill come from? So she helped him connect with the emotion of that in a very expedient way. love the rocking chair test, where it's kind of like, okay, sitting on the porch, you know, a year at age 90 or whatever, and looking back, what would you have wanted that most important impact or last thrill to be? So I think she got him very engaged emotionally to connect with where the real drivers are behind the things that he loves to do. And having impact and making a difference for people was really, really clear. I think she could have done a little bit better. And this is really kind of learning from Jasmine's model in getting to some specifics so that it could be quantifiable for him in a more tangible way. So I would say that I give you, Shannon, about a 9 for that, and the energy, the authenticity, the comfort with the conversation, and the fact that you knew exactly how to guide it where you wanted it to go. And but it didn't feel contrived in any way. So moving on to Jasmine. Jasmine, the opening for you wasn't quite as smooth. I felt that it almost felt a little bit fluffy to get started with. And I think you just were kind of getting into your groove. You weren't quite there when you opened the conversation. But when you got in your groove, man, you were like on it. Like every single question had massive impact. That you got really clear to his leverage points. You know, how many people are missing out because you're focused one-on-one? How reduced is your impact as a result of that? And even though the money didn't seem to be a huge motivator, it was a nice little rounding it out to let him see there was more at stake, that, you know, how much are you leaving on the table? So I think you helped him identify what he loves to do, where he wants to have his impact, but you made it very clear there was a gap between what was possible and where he's at and who's missing out as a result of it. So those questions were really, really powerful because they both reinforced his passion and his knowledge and his desire to make that difference, but it also opened up a gap that really you could tell was making him uncomfortable. So well done on that. So I'm going to give you a 9.3.
Wow, I love this. Can I tell you that you are the first fractional scorer ever on the history of the Raw Raw that didn't do a 0.5 or 0.25? You actually took it to a 10th, and that was awesome. I love that. So great feedback, and I really enjoy the access to tenths in the decimal scoring of the Raw Raw. So thank you for introducing
Well,
that.
when people are that good, you have to. You just have to.
Yeah, love it. Thank you, Deb. Robert, how are you?
I'm doing great. That was a lot of fun.
Cool. I thought we may have lost you to like a wave in Malibu, but thank you for being here still.
No, I'm blue though.
So take us in. What do you have? Some, what worked, what were challenges, what were opportunities, and please take us.
Well, Deb was so thorough in her analysis that I'm kind of looking through my notes trying to figure out where I'm going to add. And what I focused on, which was kind of interesting, is kind of maybe because of some of the work I'm doing, is that we have two female contestants here working with a male client. And so I was looking to see, how did that impact the connection? Because the connection, that authenticity in this first segment was so important. So that's what I was looking for, was to see if they use their feminine or did they come to the masculine perspective. And I think both of them went both ways with it, because there's a lot of smiling going on. There's a lot of connection. There's a lot of movement. Shannon kept coming forward. I don't know if you noticed that. Your posture was leaning forward. And then Jasmine, you were like bopping. It was like, I almost wanted to start dancing with you kind of thing. But I think it served its point, is that this first phase was around connection. I think that that's what you really were trying to get to. You wanted to be authentic so that you can move into that second phase and be ready to go in there and go from a hello to a yes. And so I'm excited to see what that's going to be.
Well, thank you for that, Robert. Awesome. And what did you have for score?
Okay, so I watched last night one of these scorers, and they gave fractional, so I thought that that's the way we're supposed to do it. So I gave Shannon a 9.2, and I gave Jasmine an 8.8.
Beautiful. Look at this. We have like, amazing scoring going on. Thank you for that. And Karina, how are you and what do you got?
I'm doing well, thank you. Yeah, Deb, Robert, your analysis was awesome. Shannon, I loved your confidence in the get-go. I'm like, yes, this is going to be juicy. I'm liking this. I like that you pre-framed him early on, and you just had this really strong confidence. You asked really smart questions. You were more towards motivation for what was really lighting him up, and you're keeping him in that space and really getting him engaged. And it just felt really good reminding him so that maybe later, you know, you can ask different questions to help lead him back into that space of just excitement where he was at. You did a good job complimenting him, and you definitely did a good job leading him where you were trying to go. So kudos for you for going first. I give you an 8.5.
Beautiful.
Jasmine, I think you were really patient early on and asking him about his health and just really taking that extra 10 to 15 seconds to connect with him. Maybe that was too long. Personally, I like that angle. I think you had a really strong pre-frame for the call, which is my favorite because I like to give expectation up front before I move into a call. And you used away motivation for him. You got to his pain points immediately, and you asked multiple questions, and you asked questions about just to get to more and more of his pain. And I think that was also a way for you to set him up for something that was coming later. Super traditional questions, but they always work because it's super specific and it gets down to their problems. So kudos to you. I give you a 9.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for that, Karina. And we're going to go to Jan in a minute, but I wanted to drop in a couple quick thoughts. So as we are here, like to be influencing influencers, to merge ecosystems to make the world an even greater place, one of the things we talk about in our work and on Unblinded Real Raw is how we feel about words and language. So words like pitch, hook, close, those words are words that ask yourself how they land on you. No judgment from me, but like energetically, if I close this laptop, walked away, and I'm like, yeah, I think I closed those people. I think I hooked them into what we're up to. How would that land for you? So a thought for all of us is how language shows up. And our first indispensable element, we have 4 steps, 10 indispensable elements, 4 energies of integrity-based human influence. Our first indispensable element is to love people unconditionally with boundaries. And so if we're loving people unconditionally with boundaries, to me, because this is some of the things I grapple with in the beginning of realizing that influence was a superpower. And I've worked through this process not only in sales and entrepreneurship, but in having top national jury verdicts and disrupting processes for jury verdict consultants, because some of the largest trials I've ever been involved in, people use techniques. And when you're using a technique, there's an inauthenticity beneath the technique. So I was involved in a case where, for example, that ended up being a case that we fought with our jury verdict consultants. They thought our client, they thought a number of things that we disagree with, but succinctly, the key dynamic to me was they lied, they're lying, we're not. And that's what the case was all about. And the jury verdict consultants were like, that's not a compelling enough story. And so what I'm here to share and posit is that when we are authentically loving people and simply seeking to reveal truth. Example, Karina's background is amazing, right? So she's going to talk to people. We live in a space where we're taught, like, sit down, shut up, be quiet. But how would anybody ever know the things that Karina's done for businesses? The same for Frank, the same for Jan, the same for each of the people that are on today. Like, how does somebody know who you are and what you can do? And the first section of this was like open the listening to bring present the dynamic that something is really at stake. And the key disruption initially is that we're congruently unique, so people become curious. Like congruent uniqueness, so people become curious, because that's what opens listening. And my only feedback in the first round, fantastic job. But we always talk about the micro distinctions begin once we reach a 9.9 level and above. Because at those levels, exponentiality kicks in. You're like, oh, that sounds like hyperbole. No, it's science. Because if you're 9.9 in income in the US, 9.9, you make $400,000. if you're 9.999, you make 56 million, right? Like that's the distinction. So micro distinctions equal exponential differentials, which is why Oprah's Oprah, Tony Robbins is Tony Robbins, because they're micro distinctions, or Bill Gates or Steve Jobs, et cetera. So the micro distinction for me that came up in that first round is perhaps creating a deeper level of congruent uniqueness. And my goodness, do I think that Shannon and Jasmine are congruently unique, and they did a fantastic job. They scored super high, and they deserve to. I think if there's a bit more congruent uniqueness established, you're like, okay, great. Like, how do you establish then congruent uniqueness in 3 minutes? Well, I think you do it through varying your energies. Their questions were amazing. I think there was a little bit, and of course, this is new. They're being vulnerable. Thank you so much. But by having some energy variance between the fun, the aspiration, the goddess, the Zeus, like those 4 energies being present, which I'll do something on a little bit later to illustrate and see if everybody agrees, because maybe I won't hit that mark. But establishing that congruent uniqueness, so people are like, wow, like, what are they up to? And Deb, thank you for your initial acknowledgement, because I think you said, hey, I've watched you in the Tony, like that environment, and I've seen things. And I hope what you've seen is some congruent uniqueness that made you curious. And Deb, honestly, is that what you saw a little bit of or no?
Yeah, and I think Sean is what has always, I notice who people go to. You know, when you're in an environment of super achievers, it's interesting to notice who the achievers choose to take counsel from and who they go to just in casual conversation. And it was just an interesting observation that people tend to seek you out.
Yeah. And can I give you another observation?
Sure.
When I was a sophomore in college, I ate lunch by myself in my car for an entire semester. Like that really happened. So yeah, so for people, what my heart cries out for in the world is that people can realize that this is, in truth and integrity, a learned and acquired skill set, so you can show who you are in truth to the world, good, bad, and indifferent. And so I just share that. Thank you for saying that, Deb. And that was an easy access to talk about, because I was somebody who, my parents used to get upset when I was in high school. I was so shy that I didn't say hello when their friends came over. And not because I was trying to be mean, because I didn't feel comfortable. And it made me feel like I wanted to hide. And so thank you for that, seeing that. And that's what we're here to do.
Can I also point out to you, Sean, that you see, you don't strike me as the typical extroverted personality. And that is one of the reasons that made it even more curious. Extroverts just tend to create a lot of energy and excitement around them because they just love to be in the energy of it. When you're not that kind of vibration, and yet other people come to you in a different way, I think that was probably the thing that intrigued me the most, made me the most curious. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it absolutely does, Deb. Thank you. And that's what we're here to share. So I really appreciate it. So it's a beautiful access. Jan, if you could hit us maybe with like 30 seconds each, because we'll do a second round at the end of 30 seconds each, but just tight, so we keep our timing respect, as we tend to go long here. So you have 30 seconds and 30 seconds for Shannon and Jasmine, and any other body language things you want to share.
Okay, good. I'll just do a quick on all this. And both of them were excellent, and I liked their stories. I liked how intimate they got at the very beginning. So my main thing was watching the body language. So, and with Shannon, the great thing about Shannon is that she's so sincere, and you can see it in her eyes. The only thing that I would do different, Shannon, when you ask a question, you tend to lean forward, which is good because you really want to get near them. But I think when you're receiving their answer, sometimes you can just lean back a bit, just because it changes you for a bit in your conversation. And the other thing, the two things that I want to mention too, your shoulders when you're talking, are like this. And it's been known in body language that, evenness of shoulders is more showing character, because unevenness of shoulders typically is indecisiveness of person. So every now and then, just kind of put your body this way. And another little gesture you did, you took your left hand and you rubbed your chin this way, which is really good. It's evaluation. So it's a good gesture, even if it's during virtual calls or in live calls. If you're doing this, never touch the face too much because that's a displacement, a nervousness gesture. But you did this. And then one other thing that I just thought maybe I'd help you with is when you were saying the word, I love doing this, your head was doing a no when you were saying, I love. So we always look for congruence of words with the body language that we see. But you did a great job, Shannon. But it's just a few little things that maybe
Thank you.
the going forwards and going backward just kind of give you more that you're moving and that you're really interested. But other than that, it was perfect. Okay. And then Miss Jasmine, so the great thing about Jasmine, she hits you straight on. She's right there in front of you, hits you straight on. Her eye contact is right with you. I thought she should have really pounced on the question when Frank said, about orange energy. I would have wanted to say right then, what is this? Tell me some more, tell me some more. So Jasmine, I would have probably asked that. And Jasmine rocks a little bit in her chair. I think, Robert, you identified that. Bill Gates does the same thing. He'll put his hands up here and he'll kind of rock this way. It's someone deeply, deeply into their own thoughts. But if you're just having 3 minutes to prove yourself, you don't want to get that huddle. The bigger you make yourself appear, the more powerful you can look to others. So Jasmine, that would be just one thing that I would have noticed. And the great thing about Jasmine too was that she did give head nods when she was listening to Frank, because 2 head nods is I'm in agreement with you. 3 head nods says I want you to shut up because I want to talk now. So she did good. She was like, oh, okay. So just thought I would tell you that. But with both of you, and I hope that just kind of helps you, just kind of be aware that you're giving them you and you want them to see the best you at that moment. So you have to show it in your body language too. But I thought they did incredible jobs.
Yes. And by the way, thank you for that. One of the most critical things that Jan shared with me when I first saw her speak at Leadership in the Tony Robbins world was to look out for the dangling foot. Like, look for where the dangling foot is pointing. And all of a sudden it created a very different awareness, like for everybody around us. So we'll talk more about that later. So thank you for that, Jan. Yeah, we're ready for round 2. And in round 1, Shannon, you went first. So you still have choice. Would you like to go first or second in round 2?
Yeah, I'll go first.
Cool, awesome. In this round, you're simply sharing your amazingness and the amazingness of your products and services, or whatever you think is appropriate to go to the yes that you're seeking with integrity in service of what Frank needs. So that's where we are. Any questions?
Nope.
Awesome. Let's drop in. Thank you.
Awesome. Hey, Frank. So I just wanted to acknowledge, first of all, what I really heard you say is that at 90, you want to be able to look back on your life and know that you really changed a life, that you impacted people. Even one really does the trick. And I have to say that is so meaningful for me to hear. It just took 6 minutes to change my life 20 years ago. And so I think about what you're doing, and it doesn't take that long. I remember being pinned against the wall with my husband trying to kill me, and literally 6 minutes can shift a life. And so I just want to, first of all, say thank you for what you're doing and for what you're kind of driven to focus on with other human beings. But I gotta just ask, that's a pretty broad vision, right? I want to impact a life and change the world. And I know that 6 minutes can do it because it did it for me, but how are you going to measure that? How are you going to know when you look back, I got there, and where is the delta from where you are today to that vision that you have for your life and this work that you're doing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Shannon. And thanks for acknowledging, I would say that, money is a great means of measuring things. Obviously, we sometimes use it for that. You can do a lot of good with it, but it is also a means of measurement. Actual number of bodies of people that you can say I influenced. There was 5,000 people in this room. I influenced them at some level, right? Or to hear later on in life that, someone comes up to you and says, hey, by the way, this entire school was influenced by you. Hey, my community was influenced by you. Those are immeasurable numbers, but that is kind of my intention is, some things will be, again, the dollars and cents kind of measure themselves out, and attendance, people buying tickets, that measured, or selling number of books, that's measurable. But I hope to have even actually the bigger ripple, the things that you don't know. And so I don't know if that really answers your question.
No, I did. What I hear you saying is massive impact, and that impact is measured in people, not in dollars, and that the dollars will follow the value you provide to people. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay, so my other question is, where's the delta from where you are today and where you really want to be at 90, sitting back saying, I had this massive impact on schools and companies and communities and countries? How do you, where are you at from that delta today? and that number you want to be at 90, that number of people that you can, tell your grandchildren, this is the number I impacted, the lives I changed.
I think the delta right now is the intention I have, the branding I have. It's actually getting in front of the right audiences right now. Getting in front of the people that I need to get in front of, and working with people that'll help me, grow my branding, grow my marketing, and actually get me on the stage that I want to be on.
Got it. So like I started this conversation, I don't think anything happens by chance. By the way, what I actually specialize in is helping people 2 to 10x their primary goal or their primary metrics in their business. I've done 19 industries in 25 years, and I have a 95% ratio of helping companies achieve that number, or 2 to 10x what that looks like. And I love an opportunity for a deeper conversation, so I can really dive into the science and the math and the numbers of what you're
Shannon,
doing.
Sorry to interrupt you, but I got to grab this call. I've got to bounce off of this. I love what you have to say, and maybe we can get together at some point, but I got to bounce. All right.
Awesome. But I'll see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yeah, Shannon, just for the heck of it, could you just take 30 more seconds and please finish that? But thank you.
Yeah, I just say,
time integrity, Frank. Thank you for that. I just, please, yeah, because I actually think I want to buy your services. So please go ahead.
I did too. I didn't really want to cut her off. I'm like, oh my God.
You're keeping time and Terry. I love it. I want to please finish.
Yeah, so I just really love an opportunity to dive into the science of your business a little bit. I really think that I can help you maximize what you're really looking to do and hit those numbers in a really short period of time. So if you wouldn't, no harm, no foul, it's no charge to you. I'd really just love to kind of dive in and give you an opportunity to see what's possible in the next 6 to 24 months and really see what we can do to double those numbers and create some synergy in what you're doing.
Awesome.
And I would have said yes to that too, Shannon, by the way, because you opened with, there's no accidents on us being together here.
Yeah.
So yes, we should have a meeting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Shannon, can I drop in with a little bit of feedback?
Absolutely, please do.
So your congruence and certainty is off the hook. The way you use the word delta created congruent uniqueness. Not people say the word delta, it's how you said the word delta. It's where you said the word delta. So you went from this unbelievable, open, vulnerable sharing, thank you for it, about a horrific trauma that occurred in your life at one point. I don't know where that stands in your life today, but I want to honor it for what it was at the time and made it stand as such or be reframed. I don't want to put limits on it, but what happened was a horrific trauma, open and vulnerable, depth of goddess and emotional energy and vulnerability. And then a little while later, you're talking about science and delta. It was such beautiful transition between goddess and Zeus energy that it created exactly that congruent uniqueness that we're talking about. I was like, whoa. And then you start talking about numbers and dynamics and with, again, such congruence, alignment of your words, your vocal qualities, and your physiology. I can't see, but I was very confident that your physiology was completely in alignment. So it was wow, that truly outstanding. And then there was this access to where it's all going, deep rapport. So fantastic. I'd say the one distinction is, and again, this is timing and hey, keep going, and that happened. But it was hey, no harm, no foul. You are so amazing. It would be listen, Frank, we're a decision point of choice. And on the left is you could be in your default no. You could be excited, be hey, let me think about it. And that's completely cool. Challenge for that though is that I don't think people make decisions incorrectly emotionally. I think they often make them correctly. How do you feel right now? Do you feel like it should be a yes or it should be a no? Because if you leave and think about it, your default no is going to rise. I don't make a mistake. I'm going to be sold something. You have nothing to lose. We took a few minutes. Take an hour with me. I assure you the hour will be insanely well spent. That's the truth about you, Shannon, correct?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, and so that dynamic of no harm, it's but in love, not you have to, but that's the truth. Would I be crazy not to spend an hour with you? Would anybody be crazy not to spend an hour with you? Because you're going to find access points to what they want. Would you agree with that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's it. So just tell people the truth. That's all. So I thought you're outstanding.
Yeah. The irony is I harm them by not doing that, right?
Yeah. You're hurting them.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he said he wants to change a life, and I have the ability to help him access more lives to change and have a ripple effect that's infinite on this planet. And unwillingness to make him make that, to invite him into that choice, which is the key there, is to invite him into that choice and to make that choice and make that stand in that moment is actually harmful to both of us. So I hear that and receive that fully. Thank you.
Yeah, and I know you get it. I just want to emphasize this for like everybody like watching, is what we're saying with Shannon and for all of us is we live in this very bizarre world where, yeah, there's a lot of people who can't do what they say they can do, and there's problems. But we have words like salesiness, pushy, nerviness. These are words I grew up with, right? And we certainly don't want to be pushy. We certainly don't want to be nervy, and we certainly don't want to be perceived as salesy. What those words all mean to me is there's incongruence. There's a lack of emotional rapport. There's like deception at play. There's something off. When integrity-based human influence, as Shannon was just displaying, is integrously in place, where she is clear she can help Frank. She's clear and she cares, she's present, she's hearing him. Then as Shannon so beautifully shared, it's her moral responsibility to make sure she tells Frank the truth, because if she doesn't, he's going to end up with somebody like I've ended up with a zillion times, paying people for services they couldn't deliver to me. So really cool. Thank you for that access, Shannon.
Thank you.
Yeah. So Jasmine, how are you?
I'm great. I'm learning so much. Thank you, Shannon. And everybody, of course, but I'm just taking it all in. I'm so excited.
Yeah, cool. So are you ready to drop in yourself?
Yeah, I am ready.
Awesome. Take us in.
Okay. So hi, Frank. How are you doing?
Great, Jasmine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm really excited that we're talking again. Thanks for making the time.
My pleasure.
And I also want to say thank you so much for being so open and honest about just diving in so quick. I know we have limited time, but I would love to kind of hear a bit more about, overcoming these kind of issues that you've been going through. Obviously, like spending way too much time and impacting way too little people, of really being able to expand your vision and really bring that on stage so you can impact and really multiply this effect of you helping. So I'd love to hear a little bit more about how you are planning on influencing these people that you'd love to influence.
Great question. How I'm planning on influencing more people is obviously by, through Sean's theory of ecosystems and merging those ecosystems, getting in front of more and more people that do have a sphere of influence that's congruent with what I'm doing. I like people that are business owners. I like people that have this driven, adrenaline junkie, no quit in them. There's no never in them. There's no in them. It's just constant fight and go and hustle and grind. And that's just that willingness to win and go after it. The more and more people that I can be around that have that same kind of energy, the more successful I think I'll be in delivering a bigger message.
Okay, beautiful. So you want to do that on stage, is that correct? Or are you trying to do that through group coaching programs, or what was your kind of idea behind that?
Well, I think stage you can hit more people. I also believe in larger masterminds. But again, any system that has a large audience, and I don't even mind a small audience. That everything starts small, right? Everything starts with 10, 15, 50 people. A small group right here. It all just happens with a ripple, and then can be massive after that. So, yeah, but I would like to have a bigger audience.
Yeah,
and to get around those opportunities would be amazing.
Yeah, I can appreciate that. And I can see how you really don't want to exclude anyone by not even saying no to a smaller audience and really focusing on helping everybody. And
Sure.
It definitely is possible with a system and definitely a strategy on getting to the right people, and include the 10, include the 15, but also hit the bigger stages, right? Because the more people we can help, the more people we're serving, right? And spreading that message, that ripple effect that you mentioned. So are you open to looking for a strategy that might work for you?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So I obviously heard you when you said, you don't want to say no to people and you don't want to stretch yourself too thin, but you want to give more. So what I found works best over the last few years of building coaching businesses, of actually having built my own business at age 21 to 7 figures, I was able to really help people understand their core values and putting them together, and also implementing it with feminine and masculine energy to hit more target audiences. So the most important thing, what I think of your starting point, is identifying a clear client avatar, of niching down, but then also leveling out to more people. So what type—
Hey, Jasmine, excuse me. I got a really important call. It just came in. I've got to bounce. I'm so sorry. Maybe we can connect another time.
Jasmine, go for another 45 seconds.
No, you're good. I wasn't going to go anyways. But thank you for that. So no, I can totally appreciate that. If you could just have 30 more seconds, that would be awesome. Would that be okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. So why don't we do this? Let's get a time in the calendar right now to reschedule. You could take your call and then we can go ahead and take it from there and just recap and see where we could take it from there. Does that sound good?
That would be amazing.
Okay,
Yes,
great.
I'd
How does
love to
tomorrow
get
2 p.m. sound to you?
I'm sorry?
How does tomorrow 2 p.m. sound to you?
That sounds perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. I can't wait to talk to you. Speak to you soon. Thanks, Frank.
Likewise. Ciao.
Jasmine, awesome stuff. How was that for you, Jasmine?
It was exciting. I was like, I don't know. It always works out different than you kind of expected. I tried not to plan, not be in my head, be in my heart. So I'm like really learning and just learning to be with it. It's interesting. I'm just excited.
I'll let the judges give the other feedback. So one thing that exploded for me out is you had a 7-figure coaching business when you were 21. Did I hear you say that?
Yeah, I just turned 25.
Right. No, I know you're young. That's remarkable. So just that equals congruent uniqueness and massive curiosity. So insane, number one. Number two, the hero's journey, right? Equals thinking you're you're normal, right? You're just like everybody else. And we're all, by the way, heroes, but we're thinking we're all like everybody else. And then we discover there's something special about us and wow. And then problems happen, right? And then we're up again. So I think that story of how you did that at 21 is unreal. I think adding in the truth, sharing what elements for you were pain and challenging, because your story, right? You almost feel perfect. You show up as not fakely perfect, as if you're perfect. So there could be an element for you, Jasmine, because what you've done is so remarkable that it could be wow, I couldn't be like Jasmine. It's impossible. So I think sharing, and I know it's only 3 minutes, but overall sharing what the challenges, the fears, the things that you dealt with in that journey, I think would be super helpful, because and sharing and emphasizing what you did at 21. It's unbelievable. It is phenomenal, impactful, one of the most incredible stories I've ever heard in the history of coaching. And so that is such a powerful lead for you. And just sharing the vulnerability of what was challenging, didn't work, problems that you've had in it. Does that land or no?
Well, yeah. And the interesting thing is I just started sharing that because I didn't feel comfortable, because I have this limiting belief. You shouldn't be bragging. You shouldn't be sharing that. And it's so interesting because it's my own kind of journey and I'm learning it more, how more it's not a bad thing. It's just presenting yourself of what you've been able to know. And I can feel that you shouldn't be bragging, Jasmine, of how but actually you're denying what you've been doing and then not showing up to that person of explaining what you've done. And that's what I learned from you, Shannon. I love the way you put those figures in there, and I'm going to take that away from as a big takeaway of it's okay to share what you've done, and it's okay to in a positive way, that's something that's yeah.
So Jasmine, from the day I met you, I thought you were wonderful. Your mom's wonderful. You guys are incredible people. I thought you were brilliant and talented and all of those things. My listening, however, shifts when I hear 7-figure coaching business at 21. Frank, does that land for you too or no?
I started building it then. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that became the winning phrase actually, that made me want to do business with her, because I said millions that I wanted to make and produce, and she said million at 21. I'm like, okay, this I resonate with.
Yeah, it's like, oh, Jasmine's amazing. She's really awesome. She's cool. So wait, what?
Yeah.
What did you say? That's what happened. I just want to share that, how that pops, Jasmine. Beautiful. So with that said, we're running long, so let's jump right in. Karina, what do you got?
Oh, you're muted.
Thank you. Okay, let's see. I really love round 2. I feel like it gave us the opportunity to really jump in and get the good, get the introductions out of the way and get to the good stuff. For Shannon, I loved that you went straight into your product and you basically, well, actually you acknowledged him and gave him a metaphor for how you could help him by using your life as a metaphor. You know, he was super ambiguous and you were trying to really qualify whether or not you guys could work together, and you shot right into the metaphor, which I think kind of it shifted the balance a little bit. And I think there wasn't enough backstory to help push that conversation along. I don't think that in my opinion, I didn't feel that he followed that. You know, he didn't really follow that as strongly as he could have, or maybe what you intended to if we had a longer conversation. And the crazy thing is this is so hard because there is so much context, right? We don't know if you know one another. We don't know if you're jumping on a cold call, if he read something, saw something, heard something from you. And so we don't really have a context here, and you guys are really doing the best that you can. I would have loved for you to qualify yourself early on in the beginning of the conversation in round one. And that's the same to say for Jasmine, you know, sharing that early on to qualify you as like, look guys, you took this call because something you read, something you heard, something you saw told you that brand besties could solve one or more of your challenges. You know, that's really opening up the conversation to be like, I'm here for your pain and I want to help you solve problems. So for both of you, I would have loved to hear that those qualifying pieces, you know, 7-figure business, what you've done, Shannon, amazing early on to kind of really help them see the breadth of what you can do for them. Yeah, I like both of it. I'll end there, but Shannon, I give you an 8, and Jasmine, I give you an 8.5.
So thanks so much, Karina, for being here today. And how was your experience on the Real Raw?
This is great. To be honest, I think that there's a lot of value in helping people understand how to communicate and build rapport with people. I think I would love to see there more context. You know, this is a cold call, or maybe this was a referral from someone else, just to like really help the audience grab that context early on, because there's a lot of different situations that we could be in when we have these initial conversations with people.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you, and thank you for your beautiful feedback and support. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, and Robert, what do you have, sir?
Well, this was really interesting because I was looking for the connection this time in this 3 minutes period. And with Shannon, I started to have it right away with the vulnerability, and there's certain phrases that she used, no accidents, Delta. But then what really got me, and it was so interesting because there was a shift, and I don't know if you caught it from what Jan said, but you had the shoulders kind of like this for most of the time, and all of a sudden you shifted and stood up and said, what I specialize in is, and it was like then that you got me. I was all of a sudden, I was connected. I wanted to work with you too, but it was that shift, and it could almost be strategic in point, because Jan said that when you're this way, you're not as authentic, and all of a sudden you became authentic kind of in the middle of it, and it just hit me with a great connection. So I really like that. Because I gave you 9.6. With Jasmine, one of the things that, I apologize for this, is that I know you and just know you as this really young person. And because that, and we have a connection, I already have that connection. So I'm looking for, how do you make that youth, that energy, and you use the word excitement a lot about, how do you connect to a business place? And like Sean so continuously pointed out, it was when you said at 21, I was a 7-figure earner, that all of a sudden I go, uh-oh, there's something I don't know about her. There's that mystery. There's that piece that I wanted to know about. And that was beautiful. I really like that. So just continue that, grow your confidence over time as you mature, and just go with it. It's beautiful. So I gave you a 9.3.
Beautiful. Thank you, Robert. And how was your experience today?
It was really a good learning experience. I had no idea what this was going to be. And from Jan to you to I learned a lot from the judges. I'm sitting there going like, I got to get better at coming up with some good stuff to say. And then Frank was awesome. Great experience. I loved it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, brother. Yes. And Deb, what say you?
Well, I say these women are brilliant, and Frank, I suspect you should work with both of them, just in case. All right. Now, what I absolutely loved, Shannon, is when you began your conversation, there was you said something. 6 minutes changed my life, and you didn't go into a whole lot of detail. You indicated it was a very threatening situation. You made yourself very vulnerable, and yet because we already know a little bit about you, we're thinking, "Holy crap! That woman has come back from a lot to create what she has created." And Robert was absolutely right. When you faced straight on and kind of, there was like a new energy in you when you said, "This is what I specialize in." But the interesting thing about it was congruent, it was strong, it was unapologetic. It was in your face truth without any reservation, hesitation, or apology. It was really strong. When you put in the stats of what you've done, and that it was at 19 years and 25 industries, or 25 industries and 19 years. I got confused in my own
19 industries, 25 years.
Okay. Well done. I mean, that just says not only expert, mega, mega, mega expert. So in one sentence, you can just you can knock out any competition in that one sentence. And the strength, there was a different strength in your presentation when you went into what you do. And because of that, you absolutely know without a doubt that you've done it. You don't talk about it. You didn't observe it. You weren't on the outskirts. You were in the middle of it, making it happen. And so that was exciting, particularly as a woman, to see that kind of confidence and power in demonstrating what you can deliver. So that was beautiful. Remember that. That is your ace.
Awesome. And what'd you have for scores, Deb?
And for score, I'm putting you at a 9.5. In terms of Jasmine, it's interesting because in the converse scenario, we've got Shannon, who's got all these years of experience in all these industries, and we have you, this beautiful infant. And I don't mean that in a way of an insult. It's like you're talking to Frank, who's at least 40, right, Frank? And here you are, this young 20-something, and it isn't until you deliver that 1 million, that 7-figure income, that all of a sudden you command competency. It's not like it's not wishful thinking. It's not that I love this and it's fun and I'm good at it. It's like I'm accomplished and I will show you what can be done. And it reminds me of the story that Tony says about the "I'm too young." Use the youth to your advantage, put the numbers behind it, and people will be in awe. So I would say you moved up to a 9.1 for me on that, and there you have it.
Awesome. Thank you, Deb. Incredible feedback from the judges. And Deb, if somebody said, "Hey, like, what's that thing they're doing over there, Unblinded, Sean? Like, should I go on that Real Raw thing and judge?" What say you?
I say, by all means, you will learn more about yourself and about what works, and what that micro distinction that you mentioned can take it to the next level. And it really is about micro distinctions and realizing one little shift in body language, one little shift in a metaphor, one little shift in your story, one little shift in your delivery of competency, and the game changes. So by all means, and I hope you have me back as a judge again. I loved it.
Oh my God. Thank you, Deb. We certainly will, and love to see you on either side of the aisle. Fantastic job. For the sake of time, I was going to drop in and do something with Frank. I will not for today. We'll do it in another episode coming up. I usually do my own role play for today. There was just so much incredible competency. I skipped it. I'm going to kick it back to Jan in 1 second for final feedback. But real quick, Jasmine, how was your experience today? And would you recommend people come on and be a participant?
I highly recommend, because last time I didn't know what was going on. So I felt like I had some unfair, because remember last time I was so nervous because I was like, I didn't know what was going on. This time I've grown as well. I've dropped another thing that I was nervous to share. And it's like, I'm loving it, because I think the most important thing you can do is like, you're afraid of it, you're nervous about it. Great. That's exactly what you should be doing, and just go for it. And that's how you grow. And I loved it. Thank you so much for doing this. Thank you, all of you, for your time. And thanks for all these beautiful opportunities to grow. And I love it. I've been taking tons of notes. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jasmine. And Shannon, how about yourself?
Yeah, so first of all, I just want to say thank you for creating such a safe, vulnerable container for us to really kind of dive into that sacred process in sales, to really understand the sacredness of what is occurring, and that we're really inviting people into opportunities of divine opportunity, if that makes sense. And I have this like concept that micro movements create seismic shifts. And that's really what this experience was like for me today. It was these micro moments that I took away from each one of you. You know, Jasmine had things that I too am gonna like, I'm like, you know, taking notes on, and I wanna add to my arsenal. And every single one of your coaches gave phenomenal feedback. Frank was a pleasure to sit with. You know, your facilitation and wisdom and dime dropping throughout the process was amazing. So I highly recommend it to others. And I have a list of people to be sending to you already that I can't wait to talk to you about, so that we can, collaborate on how we can amplify this, not only for what you're doing here, but for the people who I think will really benefit in their lives from being a part of it and watching it and growing and enhancing their lives.
That's extraordinary. And I appreciate that, Shannon. And I'm going to kick it to Jan in 1 second. And I'll just share this. You know, in a trial, and I've been privileged to, you know, use these integrity-based techniques to collect almost $500 million for medical providers through my 125-person law firm. But more importantly, it's been able to help raise money for charities, to help do things that have unlocked and accessed things that people didn't think were possible. In a case, without naming which case, that jury verdict consultant said we had no chance to possibly win, where my client was wronged horrifically. We dealt with very influential attorneys at national level who work with one of the nation's leading jury verdict consultant firms, because all a trial is influence, right? And there's integrity-based influence and there's non-integrity-based influence. And what these people heard were, hey, have a makeover, put on nice clothes, color your hair, have kids, talk about your family. And they used all of these tactics before the jury. And within the first hour of the trial, I was the voice of influence, authenticity, and truth. And they were a bunch of flim-flam liars. Because you can get away with lying and like flim-flam until it meets light and integrity. And I'm not commanding that my integrity is perfect. I'm a perfect person. But when we collectively are in integrity, and that hits the absence of integrity, like when it's skill and integrity match, it exposes absence of integrity every day, weekend, twice on Sunday. And that is what at the core this show is designed to do. And my dear friend and launcher for today, Jan Hargrave. Jan, any final thoughts on body language or feedback on anything you want to share as we wrap up?
Well, you always have good body language, Sean. You always do this. Look, your right hand to your chest, which is a sign of honesty. So A+ to you, Sean. A+ to Karina, to Deb. Frank was so good. Look at you, Frank, for doing all that. Robert was great. And I think for Shannon, your strength lies in your sincerity in your face. That is the strongest. I mean, it's so good. And Deb, too, I was forgetting you. But the great thing about Shannon was that you had great paraphrasing. Your hand motions were good in the second one. You had great analogies. And that right immediately you established some Me Too's. And Me Too's are that you build a bond of something like that someone they'll say something, you say, oh, me too, oh, me too. The more you can get those Me Too's at the very beginning, that's where, but your strength, Shannon, is the sincerity in your face. So I loved it. I love you. In fact, I put a heart on my paper. And then for Miss Jasmine, sweet little baby Jasmine, she's the best. So Jasmine, look, your smile is the thing that works the best for you because it is so genuine. And you know what's good about her smile that makes it genuine? Jasmine smiles not only from the mouth, but she smiles from the eyes. Because a fake smile is just like this. A real one is all that face. So Jasmine, I think your youth is wonderful. Your smile is wonderful. I think you really need to use what you have accomplished at 21 years old and what you did, honey. You need to give them that somewhere near the beginning so that they start respecting you really early in the conversation. So for both the ladies, it was my pleasure. I want to get to know them all better too.
Thank you all. It's what we're doing the Real Raw. Frank Clark, Mr. Orange, Shannon, Jasmine, Jan, Karina, Robert, Deb, and launching us, Fernando. You guys are amazing. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. Thank you for your brilliance. Have a beautiful day.